Thank you very much. Thank you, Brad.
You, Jim.
Brad and I go back a ways, and there was a period where I broadcasted for the Rangers, and Brad and I did some games together. Brad was doing a game one night, and I had the night off, and I just thought I'd share this with you. And I had talked a local police officer into pulling a joke on Brad. And we were waiting outside the ballpark after the game, waiting for his car, and of course he pulls out in his car, and we let him get a couple of blocks down the road, and all of a sudden I said, well, turn the lights on, turn your siren and lights on. So we pull Brad over, and I says, go in and ask him for his driver's license. So he gets out, and he goes and gets his driver's license, and he comes back to the car, and he goes, he is scared to death. I said, well, go back and see if maybe you can smell alcohol. That's just, see. So he went back and he checked him out. He came back and said, no, I don't think he is. He goes, well, go back and pull him out and bring him around to the back of the car and have him put his hands on the back of the car and start to frisk him. And so sure enough, the police officer did that. Brad came around to the back, and as soon as they started to frisk him, I pulled out and said, gotcha. And of course, I don't think, I'm still waiting for him to pull something on me. So. First of all, I would like to thank the Texas Sports Hall of Fame Selection Committee. When I left the University of Iowa back in '73 to join the Texas Rangers, I would never imagine being in this position and having found a home in the Lone Star State. What an incredible honor to have my name along such legends that are here tonight and those that have gone before us, and including my boss, Nolan Ryan, who's here tonight with the Texas Ranger table, and I really appreciate them coming out here tonight. Nolan and I were teammates my last year in the big leagues, and I was catching him in spring training one particular morning, I think it was, and he was popping the ball pretty hard, and my finger was hurting. He was letting it go, and my finger's smarting, and I throw the ball back to him. If he steps off the mound and walks toward me a little bit, kind of swaggering like he does, and in his Texas accent, he said, get ready, I'm going to start throwing it hard now. It's great to have him here with many others, the Texas Ranger front office that is here, also a couple table of friends that are sitting back in here, and it means so much for me to have you here tonight to participate in this and to take part in it. I would like to thank the Texas Rangers organization for the privilege of wearing a uniform for 11 and a half years in Arlington. I deeply appreciate other organizations, the Milwaukee Brewers, the Chicago Cubs, the Kansas City Royals, for the opportunity to wear their uniform, but when it comes down to it, I am a Texan. I love Texas. My kids were raised here, and it is a privilege to be a part of this group here tonight. I would also like to thank and acknowledge some very special people here as well. I have two of my four grandsons here. I have 8 grandchildren, and if I'd known grandparenting would be so much fun, I'd have skipped parenting and gone right to it. It's all you grandparents know what I'm talking about. I have Caleb Cameron and Asher Cameron right down here, and they're here with their mother, my daughter Audra, her husband Chuck, and I'm also with me is my other daughter Audra, Brianna, and my son Aaron, who is busy with 4, could not make it in from Cincinnati. And of course, my brother-in-law Al is here as well, and so it's special for them to be here. I'm going to talk about my parents and my wife here in just a second. Even as a little boy in Galesburg, Illinois, I dreamed about being a major league player. I grew up across from the street from a ballpark, and I was there from daylight to dark. Thank you, Mom, for keeping the meals warm until I finally struggled in from the field. I appreciate the love and the special attention that you gave me. And thanks so much, Mom, for doing that. My first recollection of playing ball was with my dad when he threw batting practice to me when I was 5 years of age. That was a scene that was repeated over and over during my childhood. I would like to thank Dad for dragging out after a long day of work to throw batting practice. Even though we spent a lot of time on the field, what I respect most about you, Dad, is your work ethic. I remember those mornings in Illinois when you walked to work with a foot of snow on the ground because you couldn't drive. The snow is so deep. I remember when you were sick with terrible bronchitis and other ailments, but you still went to work. When you retired after over 30 years in the Postal Service, you had 16 months of sick leave built up. Thank you for the model of dependability and integrity. You could be counted on by your employer, but most of all, you could be counted on by your family. You are a model of what it means to keep showing up. When I am asked what I want to be remembered for, my answer really goes back to your example. I want to be remembered as a teammate who could be counted on to play, to persevere through sickness, injuries, slumps, difficult times. I was only on the disabled list once because I expected to play. I have been taught by you that you always show up for your teammates. When one keeps showing up, good things can happen. My dad was one of two people that most influenced me in making it through 16 years of Major League Baseball. 162 games in 180 days, 3 days off a month for 6 months, not including spring training or postseason. It's a grind. Then I know you understand when I say that the most important person to me was, to my success, was my wife, Janet. She is the only person in this world who really knew how overwhelmed I felt at times during my career. It was often difficult. The game is an emotional marathon filled with incredible highs and agonizing lows. Baseball is a game that can bring you to your knees. She heard all about the stresses, fielded my complaints, heard about the physical challenges, and lovingly walked me through it all. If it were not for her patience and my faith, I could have easily have had a very short career. She supported the philosophy to keep showing up because good things were going to happen. I wrote a purpose statement back a number of years ago in the middle 80s to kind of get me through the last few years of my career, and it goes like this. I have concluded that all the accumulation of wealth, even if I could achieve it, is an insufficient reason for living. When I reach the end of my days, I must look backward on something more than just gold gloves, all-star games, world championships, and records, nor is fame of any lasting benefit. I will consider my earthly existence being wasted unless I recall a loving family, a consistent investment in the lives of people, and an earnest attempt to serve the God who made me. And nothing else makes much sense. This is a great thrill for me to be a part of this group. I want to thank you so much that I have had the opportunity to play in such a great state, the state of Texas, and to raise a family, and to be a Texas Ranger player, a broadcaster, an executive. Thank you for this honor. I deeply appreciate it and am very humbled by it. Thank you.